up, guys? It's your boy Alex, and welcome back to the Brave Lionheart channel. Welcome back to another reaction video we have for you today. And today, guys, it's actually a kind of another long-awaited request that people have been asking me to do since I did my reaction to Dead Meets Kill Count on The Shining. I did briefly mention in my last video that what if I actually did a reaction to him talking about Dr. Sleep? Well, guys, the wait is finally over, and we're going to be talking about it. Or more or less, we're going to be reacting to his review slash body count. You get the idea. Yes, we're finally taking a look at what I actually thought was a pretty decent follow-up to The Shining. And I'm kind of excited to actually talk about it with you guys and, check it out. Anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any time and let's dive right into the video. So, with that being said, start the video in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, yeah. Feels good to hear this intro again.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. Today is a special day, because we're looking at Dr. Sleep, the sequel
to
yeah.
Released in 2019. I'm excited to get into this.
This movie means so much to me, I don't know where to begin. I've been a Stephen King fan my entire life, thanks to my dad, and read the 2013 novel Dr. Sleep when I found out a movie adaptation was... That
surprisingly is like another book that I have not read of his. I read a little bit of like the It book that he wrote.
That's not the case
and it's crazy and messed up.
I actually enjoyed more than the book, but that's no big surprise, considering it was written and directed by Mike Flanagan.
Oh yeah.
In the horror genre since his feature debut in 2011.
He made some really good shows too. Oh, the Ouija movie.
Oculus and the phenomenal Hush, which he made with his wife Kate Siegel, and which I previously covered on the Kill Count. He's also responsible for the Hauntings of Hill House and Bly Manor.
Two really good shows. I've yet to watch Bly Manor, but Hill House was really good. Gerald's Game is a really messed up thriller film. I don't count it as horror, I count it more as like, suspenseful thriller.
Everything he does, because he always writes characters you care about and uses the camera in the scariest way possible. I should probably take a minute to disclose that the first time I saw Dr. Sleep was on a paid trip from Warner Brothers that took Chelsea and me to the...
Dang, he gets to do all the like really cool stuff since he talks about horror movies and everything.
Trevor Macy. The experience is still the coolest thing I've ever gotten to do because of Dead Meat. So, sure, you can say it...
It's really cool that he actually got to do it at the actual, like, Stanley Hotel.
It's a really good movie. This is a director at the top of his game, giving us a vast tapestry of visuals to look at while we explore the magical world of The Shining. There are...
Oh, sorry, I accidentally hit the thing. But it's really cool to think, like, just how visually amazing that this movie looked. The way they basically took something, as, like, disturbing and messed up as The Shining and made it, like, even more visually interesting. Like, especially for, like, trying to explain the otherworldly powers of The Shining itself in, in this movie more than they did in the first film. I mean, the first film, they did kind of, like, explain it a bit more, but not as much.
Safely say Dr. Sleep is among them. It sets up a bunch of characters all across the country, lets you get to know them, then intersects their stories in combative and tragic ways. All of their lives linked by the ambiguous psychic power known as The Shining. Though it follows a grown-up Danny Torrance, played by Ewan McGregor, what's great about Dr. Sleep...
Kind of forgot that Ewan McGregor was in this movie.
This movie would be amazing even if it wasn't a Shining sequel, and for the first 2 hours of its runtime, it mostly isn't. The final half hour is a huge reminder of its source material, and is probably the weakest part of the film. But it's still an impressive feat considering that Flanagan had to serve 2 masters.
As a fan, I felt for a very long time there were 2 visions of The Shining that seemed to be in competition within the minds and hearts of a lot of fans. The Stephen King Shining and there was the Kubrick Shining.
The man pulls it off because he's a goddamn virtuoso. I consider us all lucky to live in a world where Mike Flanagan makes horror movies. One last note, I'll be using the theatrical version for the Kill Count, but I've also watched the director's cut, which adds almost an entire half hour of extra footage. And guess what? That version's even better. So expect a cut comparison in the next few months. 2.5 hours is still plenty of time to kill people, though. Let's see how many.
Alright, here we go.
The movie begins by telling you it's a sequel to The Shining.
Oh yeah, hearing that score again, man. It's so good. Just gives you like those kind of like crazy like chills up your back every time you hear it.
young girl named Violet, played by Violet McGraw, young Nell in The Haunting.
Yeah, she did play Nell, and I think she also played the same character in Blind Manor.
Yeah, that's friendly. This is Rose the Hat, played by Rebecca Ferguson, in a fucking phenomenal performance. And
This actress, like, she gives off, like, a very friendly yet creepy vibe to her performance, and I love it.
You're missing the trick.
Yeah, Rose the Hat's got a lot of friends, and they're here because Violet is special, as in the house special.
It's special.
Okay.
Rose grabs Violet's arm, and her posse swarms the young girl, killing her off screen.
Well.
If you're glad it was off screen because it was a little kid, I've got some bad news for you. But first, some good news. Title card.
I always love every time he always does the title card, it always gets a laugh out of me. This is a pretty cool title card. The font might be a little bit but you know, it's okay. Also, the fact that, like, you have our first kill is a little girl off screen. I mean, thank the Lord it's off screen. No one wants to see little kids get killed off in a horror movie. Ugh. This is just the worst way to go for kids. Pretty much in any horror situation, that is the worst way for kids to go. Just saying. Anyway, let us continue on with the rest of this movie because we barely even started. There's going to be a lot to cover. A lot. Alright, just going to make sure that we are
We're
good.
back at
Yep.
the Overlook, and though things may look familiar,
Oh,
every
yeah.
frame of footage in this film is a
Really
new
cool that they were able to
film for
recreate
3,
this
which I'll point
scene.
out later, but just think about that. Flanagan had to recreate the entire Overlook interior, which, if you remember from the Shining kill count, was
Just
a
go ahead and
big
sit up so I
friggin' deal.
look
What
better.
Danny Torrance saw in room
Oh,
2
yeah,
was
having that
something
PTSD of that room.
Sneaky ghost lady
Oh.
continues to haunt him even after escaping the hotel.
Major
Even other
PTSD nightmares.
harassing him at home, even hanging out in his bathroom when he's trying to take a tinkle. Guess you'll just have to hold it, little man.
I'm really going to be able to get the dead stank out of that bathroom.
There to give him a soggy pee hug. Danny hasn't spoken since the Overlook incident, but that changes when the
Aw.
ghost of Dick Halloran shows up. The least he can do for that guy is have a conversation. I mean, he was the one who taught Danny what the shine is, after all.
And someday, Danny Torrance, you'll teach someone else.
Since this story focuses more on the shine than even The Shining did, Dick's got
Doc,
a
why
lot
do I
of
feel
fun
like
explaining
that's
to do. He says
literally,
the shine is a
sorry,
technique
Dick,
that can be used
that was his
to
name.
fool
I keep
dark
forgetting that.
forces.
Why do I feel like that's
Since
epic
Danny
foreshadowing you're
was
giving
the
us right
only one
now?
who's ever seen, the Overlook ate it all up. Nom nom nom. And if you're still confused as to what exactly The Shining is, it's magic? This crucial scene continues as Dick tells Doc how to beat the spirits haunting him. All he has to do is make a lockbox in his mind, and he can use that to trap all the ghosts inside. This conversation is taken from the Dr. Sleep book.
I don't know how to
where
feel
it
about
plays
that.
out a little differently. After all,
In my book, Dick Halloran Lives, Kubrick's movie, Halloran Dies,
given how important
Oh.
Quinn's position is, I remember
Sorry, I had to clear my throat there for a second.
In the sequel to Kubrick's film, I even pondered as much in my Shining kill count. Dick Halloran survives in the book. He's also alive at the beginning of the Doctor.
Yeah, I
Sleep
think he did
movie, so
mention
I'm
this in his
curious
last
to
review,
see the
actually.
Doctor Sleep movie. In the
Well, not
end,
last
we'll
review, but his review of The Shining.
Mike did was
Yeah.
to bring him back as a ghost, which makes perfect sense in the context of the story.
And more evidence that Mike Flanagan was the perfect person.
Worked out for
job.
everyone, I guess.
His approach to recasting these iconic characters. Carl Lumbly sounds just like Scatman Crothers.
Yeah, for like,
Esso doesn't
I wasn't too sure about the recasting for everyone. Yeah, that's actually not that bad for her. Like, a lot of the recast that they did for a lot of these characters, they did a really good job replaying these playing these characters again.
Like Danny Lloyd. You can still tell it's Danny Torrance, just like you can tell
And again,
Esso is Wendy.
R.I.P. to Shelley Duvall, but
Shoes to fill. I think that Shelley
yeah,
Duvall's
you
performance
literally,
is the
you did an
closest
amazing job, girl. Be proud of yourself.
thing.
Well, you did great, Alex. That night, while watching TV, Danny goes to the bathroom so shit can go down. And I don't mean the drain. Dan the man marches right up to
Oh,
the body
boy.
of the woman
Box
and
time.
shows Massey his mind box, which she does not find pleasant at all.
Damn, that's a freaky scream.
damn.
Nicely
Doc's
done.
a big kid now. And 31 years later, in 2011, Doc's a man.
Oh,
Gets in a
gosh.
fight and wakes up next to naked.
Yep.
Whoa, that naked chick.
Okay.
is played by Chelsea Talmadge, who was Steve's shitty friend Carol in Stranger
Wow.
Things. The night of debauchery.
Who would've
Left
thought?
Andy pukey and poor, so he decides to steal cash from the sleeping woman. An immoral act that just got a whole lot
And
of
yeah,
money.
she has a
The
baby,
ghost of
dude.
Dick appears and chides him for stealing from the mouth of a hungry babe, but it doesn't stop Dan from leaving with the kid.
Crazy thing,
In
Obi-Wan
Moonlight,
went to basically, you know,
Dan meets with a young
attacking
woman played by
kids,
Emily
or no,
Ellen
sorry,
Rose,
not
who
attacking
sees
kids, but like trying to
Belle
protect
being
kids to
the
stealing from
17-year-old
kids.
is playing a 15-year-old named Andy who uses her uniquely persuasive powers to put perverts like this guy to sleep.
Sleep.
Andy steals the
Mm-hmm.
guy's money and permanently shames the predator by carving a snake bite into his face. But
I think this
the
also
snake bite
this
Andy
was the reason that she got like her nickname, or that she gave herself this nickname. Something like that.
To admire in a shot referencing another Stephen King adaptation, The Green Mile. Those snake
Wow,
bite
like
Andy's
a lot of
powers are
references
not
to
strong enough
Stephen
to
King's
let
past
escape
work.
Rose's attention.
I'm gonna let me go. No, no, sweetie. No, I don't.
Now we're in the granite
Oh,
stage.
boy.
I told you, this movie sprawls
Oh
across
yeah!
the stone.
Our first introduction to actually one of the best characters in this movie.
The birthday girl can't help
Well,
but stay
second
busy
best
fishing,
character.
shocking her parents when they find out that she's made all the spoons hang from the ceiling. But it's hard to eat a good meal hanging upside down.
I mean, yeah, I definitely would be a little freaked out too, but I would be impressed,
Throws a
honestly.
Andy awake and gives Rose the hat a shiver that puts a smile on her face. Not that she wasn't happy already.
getting some
I mean,
thoughts
she did
right
just pick
now.
up the pusher.
You can push people.
Rose wants Andy to push for them, and in exchange, she'll provide a whole lifestyle. One that will allow Andy to age so slowly, she'll still be a teenager in a few hundred years.
Eat well. Stay young. Live long.
Laugh love. Wait a minute. Andy's brought to the beach
Yeah.
for a ceremony where she meets Rose's crew, including Grandpa Flick, played by
Yeah, not at all creepy right now.
Adams Family movies, and fucking terrible.
Dang, we're getting some, like-
Andy lies back.
Oh,
Rose's crotch.
God, he
Reminds
played
me
that
of the
character.
book. And with a sermon from Flick, the group agrees to tie Andy's life into theirs, the true knot. To induct Andy into the true knot, Rose breaks out a thermos full
Oh.
of violet shine, which they call steam. Ready to get steamrolled?
Oh,
Andy?
yeah, she
Alright,
breaking out the
shotgun
good
little
stuff right
Andy
now.
breathes deep and undergoes a terribly painful process called
Okay.
When she wakes up, it's
Maybe it's a
today
little too good.
eliminating the True Knot's caramel. Oh
my gosh. I forgot. Oh my gosh. Wow.
To her new life with the knot, and when Andy asks if she's
Forgot
still
that
living,
happened in this
Rose
movie.
doesn't matter.
Do you care?
Yeah, I honestly forgot about this moment. And there's other moments like it too. Like literally these like, you know, shine vampires. I think that's what they call them in the movie as well. We don't really get a name for these creatures that they are. But the fact that like after they just kill someone or they turn someone, they do the most casual shit you have ever seen. It's stupid, but I love it in this movie. It just shows that, like, yeah, we killed someone and now we just, like, brought someone into our cult by giving some steam from someone that we just killed. But yeah, we can still do the casual stuff like normal people can do. It's so stupid, but that's kind of the reason I love just these, like, villains in this movie. I think, like, to be fair, the only chill ones out of this entire group are Rose and Crow. They're like the only two that are like the most chill out of everybody, and yet they still are the most sadistic people in this entire film. It's crazy to think. It's really crazy to think.
And takes a bus north to a town in New Hampshire called Fraser.
Oh, just had to stop by New Hampshire, I guess.
Has a smaller version of itself in the town square. It's called Teeny Town, built by neighborhood.
I was about to say, is this just like a normal landmark for like this town in New Hampshire, or does someone take it down mostly? I don't even know.
Walking Dead and the Meg. Billy sees that Danny's
Oh yeah, he was in the Meg.
him as a man in need.
Crazy.
Hooks him up with a sweet loft to stay in.
But then again, this is one of the other really great characters in this movie. The first great character in this film.
No, I don't. But I know the look.
I'm glad that Dan's found a new friend, because it's hard to have good conversations with
Oh.
people like Dead Deanie. who only
Okay,
knows
that's,
how dead she is.
That's not good.
I'll take Deanie's word that her and her poor baby have died of overdose and starvation. Their bodies still rotting where Danny left them. And if you don't want to see a dead baby, don't.
Well.
worry, 'cause that is one creepy.
Oh!
Aw, no! The encounter nearly drives Danny to drink,
Dead,
but he
creepy
instead
baby
picks up
CGI
Danny
stuff.
and immediately takes him in.
Oh, he's the
Really
worst.
fucking best. He takes Danny to an AA meeting run by Dr. John
I
Dalton.
accidentally clicked out of the screen when I was trying to pause this because I wanted to talk about this moment. This actually brings up a really good point for Danny's character in the movie, is the fact that the one trait that he got from his father, which I think Danny thought, I feel like the character did not want any traits from his dad growing up, but he ended up getting one of the traits from his dad being the alcoholism that Jack had, which was the reason for, Danny's bruises and everything, if we know from the Shining. But I will say, the fact that, it's only shown, once in the movie with his alcoholism, but he's able to power through it, that actually shows, really good character development. And it honestly, it kind of brings up the hereditary, symptom of, getting one or two traits from a family member that you have, and it basically just goes down the line of the lineage. Just saying. Just had to get that out of the way. I think it's great development for this character. I think plus this guy was also in one of the Haunting series. It might have been Bly Manor.
In a scene shot just like Jack's interview at the Overlook.
Yeah, it's just the same exact office. So does this mean the doctor is related to the guy that sold the hotel to, or not sold the hotel, but got Jack to come work at the hotel?
As he always knows when a patient's about to go. Not a bad last sight to see.
Oh, it's such a precious little kitty.
Guy by saying dying's just like going to sleep, and that earns him the titular moniker.
To sleep.
Doc may not have a PhD, but
Yeah.
he does have the shine, which he uses.
So he ended up getting that name just talking to patients about comforting them. Oh, the steam vampires would love to suck that up.
Most of them just don't know it. Of course, Dan's got a lot of shine. And now that he's in New Hampshire, his shine is discovered by the nearby Abra, who writes to him on his chalkboard and giggles that she's found someone special like her. With a job and a pen pal, Dan's able to remain sober for the next 8 years. Cause we just jumped some time, motherfuckers, and now it's 29.
Okay, just gonna do an 8-year time jump, I guess.
Patients like Charlie here that there's more to life after death. And while we don't see Charlie die,
And he apparently got better at comforting people with his shine power, which is great.
8 years, Dan and Abra have kept up occasional communication, keeping both of them in higher spirits than the members of the True Knot, who nowadays are looking a little worse for wear. Stop calling
Safe
them
to
a
say,
Knot.
no one's looking too good.
The Knot has been going hungry for steam, since that's what these shine vampires need to sustain themselves.
We feed on children. We eat the steam.
Crow Daddy's been trying to track them down some food, but is worried there's not as much steam in the world these days. He says it might be getting dulled down by cell phones and Netflix. Crow's played by Zahn McClarnon, an actor of Papa Lakota descent, who is also Hansi in Fargo Season 2, and the subject of the single best hour in
Wow.
the world. Love seeing him.
That's interesting to know.
Although the
Getting a lot of A-list actors in this movie though too. Yep. Time for dinner, folks. Getting some of that good stuff again.
This kid does. To re-up their supply, Crow's been tracking a shiny Iowan kid named Bradley Trevor, played by Jacob Tremblay, who we saw in The Predator.
Oh yeah, I think he was in another horror movie that was really good.
By Danny Lloyd, who was the original Danny Torrance.
That's also another interesting fact. Nice to know.
And instead of acting, he became a biology professor in Kentucky. Unfortunately for Bradley Trevor, OG Danny ain't the only one in attendance at this game. While walking,
Oh boy.
Bradley is approached by the True Knots van. and Snake
Yeah.
slithers into the boy's brain, convincing him to come with them. They take
Safe
him
to say
out
this
to
kid
where
didn't watch The Black Phone or anything.
around for a memorably horrific scene wherein Jacob Tremblay gives a devastating
Yeah, this
performance.
is... Oh wow, yeah, this is a really hard scene to sit
His
through.
plans don't work on Rose, who tells him the more afraid he is, the better his steam will taste.
Oh gosh.
She begins torturing the child to provide her family.
Oh
It is truly
gosh.
difficult and disturbing to watch. And although
Give
Jacob
credit to this
Tremblay
kid for giving such a very powerful, terrified performance.
people playing his assailants.
the actors playing the True Knot, who had been full of swagger before the camera rolled, just like, yeah, we're gonna go kill this kid. We're the monsters. Were literally so shaken that they had to step away from the set.
The incident
Yeah.
is so violent that Abra intercepts it, and she screams in concert with the baseball boy, begging his attackers to stop. Rose senses
Well.
Abra's eavesdropping, and the connection gives the girl Danny Torrance.
Oh,
But
crap.
before you can start thinking about future
She got her own Danny Torrance
you gotta
face.
finish the one in front of you. They kill Bradley Trevor slowly and painfully, making the most of their meal. and
Well.
saving the last little bits for later. Bradley's torture does a number on Abra, who has a conniption in her bed and blows a
It's
sight
safe
of
to say
glass
that she is
through
freaked
Danny's
out.
door. She has to let him know about the Red Rum. Meredith.
Yep.
While burying the baseball boy, Rose tells Crow they had a powerful onlooker spying on them all the way from the East Coast.
You're saying someone looked in from 1,500
Yep, they know exactly what they're gonna go after now.
Not, they have found a whale, someone with so much shine it could feed their family for decades. Abra finds the baseball boy she felt getting murdered listed on a missing children's page online.
Oh, news like traveled apparently fast in the town they're living in.
The whole road trip he was forced to go on.
Oh boy.
Exactly which plant his murder took place at. Fuck, I love
Really
it.
great shots right here though too.
They look so cool. This is one of the movie's many strengths, creating visuals just as fantastic as the powers in this world. The wondrous sights continue as Abra looks for the murderer.
Oh yeah, this is that's so cool. That's such a cool shot.
She's somehow an observer inside Rose.
I will admit the floating in air is a little bit wonky if I'm gonna be honest.
Allowing her to use
Uh-oh.
the connection as a two-way. That gives her a glimpse of Abra's
Oh.
current view and even allows her to interact physically. Though not
No, don't be doing that. Oh, nice.
You were at the grocery store, Rose. Makes sense you found some food. Rose gets back to the knot and tells Crow Daddy that their onlooker has more steam than they could have ever possibly anticipated.
Is she food or do we turn her?
Great question, Crow. But Rose doesn't want that kind of power around competing with her. She'd much rather. they
Interesting. You know, that does bring up actually a really interesting point. Why didn't they try to turn her in the movie? I mean, again, it makes sense for Rose to not want that kind of like, you know, raw power to have the potential to take her over and eventually kill her. But then again, it made me think it would have made the movie a lot more different if she was turned and she ended up turning on Danny to like, you know, attack him. But I guess it would be different from the book. I mean, again, I've not read the book. I might have to check the book out at some point, but again, it does bring up a point of like, why not turning her? But again, yeah, makes real sense that Rose does not want like a second in command that would, you know, outshine her and overpower her and probably eventually like take all of her steam, make Abra more powerful.
Takes a bus to Fraser, then instinctively heads to Teeny Town to meet the train conductor. Damn the man, Torrance.
Damn the man, the train man.
Dan know who she is, and they take a seat together on a park bench.
You can hear me.
Let's use our outside voices, all right?
She's excited to find another person who has magic, or as Dan tells her, shine.
When I was a kid, I didn't understand the shining. I called it Tony.
Abra says the baseball boy also had the shine until it was eaten by the bad people as they tortured and murdered him. She wants to find the boy's body and bring his murderers to justice, a lofty goal for a teenager, but one that's believable thanks to Kylie Curran, who beat out more than 800 other
Also,
young actresses to
there's
get
the
the
fact that
role.
like
She
she
does a
is,
great job as Abra,
in certain
especially
points,
as
she's also kind of a little psychopath.
Steam, I think.
Dan
but
doesn't
in
wanna
a
give
good
up.
heroic way,
Abra
kind of like
stops shining, so the bad
I don't
folks
think
will
there's
go.
any way of
It's
saying
from
that like being a
cowardly
psychopath is
advice that gives him a
heroic.
physical effect. Is it from a ghost?
Oh.
It's just dick, Doc, not an overload ghoul, so put those boxes away. You wouldn't want to put your dick in a box. Dick's visiting Dan for the first time since he saw him in Deanie's decrepit apartment 8 years ago.
Has it been a long time? Can't tell. This world is a dream of a dream to me now.
Man, I love this scene and the way it drives home how otherworldly the afterlife is. Dick tells Doc that he needs to help Abra, just like he helped Dan all those years ago. Then he says that this is the last time Dan will ever see him. And just like that, he's gone. God,
Oh, I'm just
we
gone.
get another
It's
spectacular,
sad.
possibly the film's most visually stunning, when Rose the Hat sits atop her
Oh,
train
yeah, this is a
and
very
projects
memorable
herself into
scene.
the night sky. With the soundtrack reduced
She
to
floated in the night
music and
sky!
breathing, it flies high above the
Oh my
ground.
gosh, that is
Plotting
so
that deeper
cool.
average, honing in on the
Damn, the
location,
visuals in this movie are so good.
from the sky and makes footfall on Abra's street. Fuck, this movie looks so cool.
Oh, boy.
Man, and it just keeps going. As
Oh.
Drops in horizontally through the
And just
window.
sliding right on in through that window.
Inside Abra's room, which is really her brain, maybe, Rose finds a wall of memories, which reminds me of another
Okay.
Stephen King story, the wild-ass Dreamcatcher. But Abra's
Oh.
memory warehouse is actually a
Oh.
Handcatcher. 'Cause this
Oh!
little brat played by this little
Oh, that's
nightmare.
painful.
You'd come back.
Abra's
There's this
design
creepy little thing,
very
too.
well to me, but I guess it's a reference to the Rooster Teeth anime Ruby's character.
I don't really think it's to reference her, but it's really interesting to know that, like, this character was a fan of Ruby. I wonder if the actress that played her was actually a really big fan of Ruby as well, too.
Rummaging through her memories to learn more about her. Rose escapes in a signature Mike.
Oh, that is so brutal.
The effects for this degloving were done by prolific makeup artist Bob Kurtzman and his wife Marcia King Kurtzman. They both had plenty
Yeah.
of time since they did a similar.
Props to the makeup department for that.
To us now how to mangle hands. We're getting really good at it.
With this, Rebecca Ferguson joins the esteemed company of Carla Gugino and Flanagan's wife, Kate Siegel.
Yep.
Have your hand savaged in a Mike Flanagan film.
Rose is able to.
But then again, if it's going on in her mind, I don't think it would affect her in the real world. Or unless we're working on, Nightmare on Elm Street logic here.
Bad condition, because unlike what Andy mistakenly thought she signed up for, the True Knot energy vampires are not completely immortal.
I said live long, eat well.
Yep.
Since they have
Sorry about that. I mean, this is multiple times I've had moments where the sound was cutting out on my recording system. I may have to update it a bit, with how I'm recording these reactions.
Trembled in
I'm gonna try my best to do that anyway. But anyway, let's just continue on.
skyscrapers.
The members of the True Knot aren't as fleshed out on screen as they are in the book, but that doesn't mean their backstories are entirely absent.
Mike Flanagan gave us a lot of creative liberties where we could come up with our own ideas for our character, which is such a gift for an actor.
I think that's another actress that was in Haunting of Hill House. Actually, I think she was in Bly Manor too.
Was a native tracker in the French and Indian War.
Plus, it's great to learn about these different characters and where they came from as well. I mean, we don't get to learn about every single I think they're called the True Knot. I keep hearing different names. Oh gosh, that was terrifying. That was a terrifying face. Oh gosh, yeah, that's brutal.
And I didn't think it could live up to it on screen.
Oh my
God damn,
gosh.
Mike Flanagan did it. Because of course.
And he just
With
turned
the
into
Stevens
steam.
supply, the Knot feasts on Flick's remnants.
They're all gonna suck up on it now.
Things are clearly dire now, so Crow prepares to go capture their whale. And although Rose
Yep,
won't be
it's time to
joined,
hunt down the
hunt
down the girl.
Can handle Abra.
But I got some tricks of my own.
Abra tells Dan about her encounter with Rose.
Oh, boy.
And asks him to go find the baseball boy's body in Iowa. Dan asks Billy for help with the task, and although it's a long drive, Billy's a fucking bro. They start driving west. With Abra
Also, I just love that Billy is just literally going along with Dan on this.
Dan about her visit
I love that. He doesn't question it. It's just because he trusts him that well. This is what I kind of think that every character is like this in a horror situation. You know there's going to be a person that doesn't trust them, but I love Billy for this.
Still supportive enough to help dig, because that's just the kind of guy Billy is. Dan's proven right when they find a foot. And you know what feet are kind of like? Hands.
Uh-oh.
And you know what hands usually go with? Faces. And you know what? Oh, he puking. The unearthing
Yeah, just let it out, Billy.
Billy to his core, and he puts his faith completely in Dan. Abra's father, understandably, doesn't
Oh,
trust
boy.
Dan as much.
Your Uncle Dan? The fuck you think you are? She is 13 years.
Yeah. Rewatching this scene, it's understandable that the dad is kind of pissed off a little bit at Dan here, but they were having a psychic connection talk about stuff and everything, and they both share power, so it's nothing too awkward. But it's understandable if watching this right now,
Abra stops her dad and flashes him images.
yeah, just invading his mind and showing him all the images of pain and suffering from a little kid.
Time to drink, but none for
Yeah, breaking out the good wine apparently, or was that tequila maybe? I don't know.
Vampires, after all, they take things into their own hands. or more specifically,
yep.
Abra's. Since a guy named Barry briefly wore Bradley Trevor's mitt, Abra uses that to peek into Barry's present and sees that an RV full of True Knotters are heading towards them on the highway. They're tracking them through Abra's shine, but Dan's got a plan that'll trick him something good. They go to a state park for another memorable scene.
Oh yeah, this is another really good scene in this movie, but it's painful to watch near the end of it.
Reaches the park and gets out of their RV to find Abra sitting zenned up on a picnic table. Snakebite Andy approaches, hissing soothing words, which calms Abra down enough to get stuck with a needle full of drugs.
Well,
that was easy. Blast! Bested everybody once more.
Saboteur!
Dan and Billy in the trees, and since the True Knot is also armed, well, there was a fire.
Yep.
Andy books it back to the RV.
Just big old Forrest Gump fight.
Gunned down.
Oof.
Rose anguishes from afar as her entire clan is killed, each of them getting shot and falling to the ground,
Yep.
cycling out of this world until they're nothing but steam. Delicious, delicious steam. The minor True Knot characters were played by Mike Flanagan regulars, most of them having acted in The Haunting of Hill House. Robert Longstreet, who was Barry.
Yeah, a lot of other actors from The Haunting of Hill House.
Sari played Poppy Hill.
I definitely recommend the series if you guys have not watched it on Netflix. It's really, really good.
Short Eddie wasn't an actor at all, but he did work on Hill House.
First time acting role for this guy, apparently.
I thought it could be fun too to have someone who isn't an actor. And
Nice.
Just ate it up.
Finally, Diesel Doug was played by Mike Flanagan's brother James, which, yeah.
Wow, even getting his brother in on this.
Approaches the RV door where a lack of bullets gives
Uh-oh.
Andy an opening.
Well, that failed.
Put Dan to sleep and is just about to murder with some misandry.
Fucking men.
When she's shot by Billy coming around.
Oh,
the RV,
nice job, Billy.
Takes her down, but she's still
There
got
you
enough
go.
life to push out two final words. Oh no!
Oh no, Billy! No!
Killed by a suggestion.
Well, to be fair, he should have like shot her in the head. Maybe that would have taken her out a lot quicker.
Herself and turning into steam. Abra realizes
Ah,
that the
she
throw isn't
sucks.
there, 'cause turns out he's in her kitchen,
Oh.
needling her in the neck. True to his word, Crow Daddy outsmarted Abra, and in the process.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Crow killed her dad too.
Later, and it confirms David's death.
Oh, that's
Abra's
rough.
mom, Lucy, left to visit her sick mom.
Oh, she gonna get a big surprise when she comes back home.
Actor Jocelyn Donahue from her starring role in Ty West's House of the Devil.
Wow.
Was buckled up tight in Crow's van with too many drugs inside her to properly use her powers. McLarnon has his best scene of the
Honestly, I think this is another really great scene to show off the actor playing Abra's like her acting like talent. Especially trying to channel Ewan McGregor's character at the moment. It's a really great performance from her.
Drink in dismay and instead reaches out to Abra, even if she can't transmit her powers.
Oh yeah, this is another really good scene.
He successfully tunes in to WA.
Oh, nice.
Crow's car. The ill-defined powers of the Shine continue as Dan touches hands and transfers himself into Abra's body. Kylie Curran is great in this entire movie, but she gets extra points for how well she plays a different character inhabiting her body.
Who are you?
I'm the guy that killed your friends.
And that guy's got another trick up his sleeve, one that'll make Crow wish he had worn his seatbelt. Dan crashes the car into a tree
Oh, yeah.
and sends Crow Daddy through the windshield, evoking a scream of anguish from Rose hundreds of miles away. Abra, now
Yep.
in control again, walks up to the dying Crow Daddy and coldly tells him that she hopes his death hurts a lot. Well, I think you're in love.
Like I said,
because he does not
psychopath.
having a good time. Abra receives a projected visit from Rose, but
Oh.
fully confident she doesn't let it slow her down.
All right, bitch, child.
Uh-oh, Rose is breaking out the
Did not think she would use the combination of two words right
all
there.
that steam herself. Not like there's any True Knot members left alive to share it with.
Yep, she's going hog it all to herself. All her friends are pretty much just completely gone.
He's gonna choose the venue.
There's a place that's dangerous for people like us.
And that means it's
Oh yeah, here we go.
might just give them a chance.
Yeah, now we're getting into the stuff that I remember mostly, which is really weird to think. The first time me and my family watched this movie, we were like really, really enjoying the story so far, and we're like, when it got to this point, we're like, oh, I just burped for a second. I was just gonna say, yeah, like this now just feels more like a Shining sequel, which is crazy. It's really, really crazy to think that that this place was closed down for like 40 years. Safe to say, it did not get a lot of attention for like, yeah, come stay at our hotel. By the way, we have ghosts in our hotel that can kill you and pretty much make you go insane or just make you go crazy and kill your family. Just stuff like that. But again, it really does show like there's dedication to the sequel. That like it really does show dedication.
To wake the place up. Once again, I am in complete awe at how Flanagan was able to recreate one of the most studied
famous blood elevators.
of all time. You can tell it
Even
was
though
a
they're
true
much darker and older.
Every time I walk in here, I'm just floored. It's like walking into your own memory.
It's really crazy to see that like they ended up recreating the whole like setup of the entire Overlook Hotel from the inside to the outside a little bit.
all hands were on deck.
Even though, yeah, it's shown it was done in a warehouse, but still, very impressive work from Mike Flanagan here.
Was able to find the exact model typewriter Jack Torrance used and recreate
Wow.
all work no play pages. Even though
Just imagine having to retype all of that, though.
Everyone was happy to do the work, especially Mike Flanagan. Like me, he's been a king since he was in the 5th grade, and he clearly had a ball making this film. Dan gets the boiler.
He's just basically just a big old kid in a big old candy store.
Even though we only ever saw Wendy doing it for him. Then he takes a stroll down memory lane, visiting hallways more Grady girl-free these days. And his
Well, that's good at least.
including the
Oh yeah, where him and his family used to live.
Obi, his last stop, is the Gold Ballroom, where he takes a seat at the bar just like his dad did all those years ago.
Slow night, Mr. Torrance. Not for long, I imagine.
The bartender once again.
Oh,
identifies
boy.
himself as Lloyd, but that is hashtag
Yeah,
my Lord.
is
It's Jack and
good old Jack Torrance. I actually thought this was a really great scene. Even though it's implied, it's heavily implied this is still Lloyd from the first Shining movie, that wanted to try and, corrupt Jack and everything. But I really think it's a nice touch. And it does help with Danny's character. That the one person that he loved, that he also feared that he would turn out like him, was his father. And it's great development for the character, too. It's one of the better, moments for this movie. But again, yeah, it's basically Lloyd trying to corrupt Danny and everything. Which makes you think, this apparently is the one ghost that Danny forgot to capture and put in his little memory box thing. Yeah, you kind of forgot about there, Danny boy. Ugh, gosh. Danny boy! I'm sorry, I had to. I had to do that. But yeah, it's still really a great moment in this movie.
Sure, he proves it by complaining about wives and kids.
A man tries. He provides. But he's surrounded by mouths. And a family. A wife. A kid. Those mouths eat time. They eat your days on Earth.
Classic Jack.
Also apparently pouring him a Jack Daniels as well.
Jack Torrance's spirit does appear in the book, so Flanagan always knew he'd have to cast someone for the role. Jack Nicholson was never approached since he effectively retired after his role in the 2010 box office bomb How Do You Know? That left Flanagan with the
Plus, if he did come back, he would look a little bit too older than he did for his character when the first movie came out. Ooh, that would have been not great.
He decided to cast Henry Thomas, who, as a child,
I mean, this guy did a very... That is crazy! Yeah, he was in Haunting of Hill House as well, but... Again, this guy did a really good job, playing... Even if it's just one scene, playing Jack.
Jack Nicholson parody. Although the original film's performance was basically a Jack Nicholson self-parody. Flanagan wrote this scene to convince King to give this movie his blessing. It showed the author that the filmmaker understood The Shining's themes, how the hotel was a metaphor for addiction, and how Jack Torrance was a man terrified of hurting his own family if he didn't fix himself. It was a personal story for Stephen King, who wrote The Shining when he was a practicing alcoholic.
Functional, but practicing.
Writing Dr. Sleep gave him a chance to approach the same
boy.
as a new, sober man. And this film adaptation allowed him to reconcile some things with Kubrick's Shining, which he notoriously disliked, calling it chilly.
The biggest change that we made was to the third act, which in the novel takes place on the campground that used to be the site of the Overlook Hotel. And so the pitch was, let's keep the hotel alive so that we can stage that final battle in the Overlook itself. And the trade-off is, you know, we're changing the ending of Doctor Sleep, but we're changing it to
Definitely does show, though.
Shining that King never got to see made.
Unlike his dad, Dan rejects the free ghost drink, so he's sober when Abra sees Rose coming around the mountain.
Yep,
Rose
here we
gets the
go.
Overlook and steps inside, where she gets a good look at their world-famous blood
Oh.
elevators. Give them a hand, folks. That's a lot of blood. Rose likes it. The blood
Yep, she
elevator
loves
is
that.
perfect.
She's just fascinated by it, too.
It was just too
Shows you that she's a crazy psychopath.
So they recreated this sequence digitally. Rose finds Dan and
Yeah,
Abra standing on
it's a
staircase
decent touch with the digital blood.
And as she threatens them from Jack's super productive writing spot, they launch into their plan with 2 pairs of white
Oh,
eyes.
here we go.
Together, they transfer
Double teaming up on her.
Overlook hedge maze, which, wow, looks like
And putting her in the hedge maze.
Glad to see the hotel
Not the
headed
safest
by
place to
these
be.
hedges. Rose follows Abra's footprints to the center of the maze, where she finds the young girl waiting
Oh,
to
there
do
she
a
is.
Mortal Kombat teleport
Oh,
attack.
never mind, and there she goes.
Friggin' shank. After a few of those, Rose puts an end to that.
Oh.
And is just about to monologue her way inside a lockbox when she realizes that this isn't Abra's mind at all.
Oh.
Fuck this noise. Rosie out. Sorry, Dan. Nice
Well.
try, though.
How the hell did we miss you?
Probably the booze. She approaches
Probably, yeah.
life of eating well and staying young. His answer
Also
is
getting a nice little reference to the first Shining movie. Oh, nice. Ooh. Oh, right in the leg. Oh, that had to be painful for the stunt actor.
It lets us see the hard work put in by the stunt led by Chuck Gordon. She pounces on him and thumbs out some delicious Danny steam, seasoned by a long life of trauma.
You taste like whiskey.
She gets a tad too high off his painful memories, and when she goes
Oh,
to
boy.
boxes, Dan's happy to open them for her.
They're starving.
The horde of hungry
Oh, very good line.
throws the hat, shunting at
Oh,
her
boy.
face.
Ugh.
Together, they kill her, which happens a bit.
Apparently, I guess they enjoy it too
She's
now.
one of my favorite villains.
That's really weird.
In the end, she cycles away, leaving nothing but a cloud of steam and a free hat.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel like that is probably not the best way to get rid of one of the best villains for this movie. I feel like if we would have gone further, like, because we know the ghosts are going to possess Danny at this point or try to make him kill Abra. Plus, I feel like if it was just like Rose was still alive for a bit and then possessed Dan got after her, she wouldn't have survived that, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, Danny, you really shouldn't have opened those boxes up again after that. That was not the smartest plan on your part. Just saying. Sorry, Dan the
The
man.
ghosts then turn their attention back to their favorite
Oh,
boy,
boy.
Hello, Danny.
and similarly swarm him too. This is when I think the movie goes a bit too far
Yep.
with the Shining references. I'm
This is
fine
where it
with
just
this
jumps
Dan.
straight heavy into the references a lot.
That actually comes from the Shining novel, only it was Jack chasing Danny. But I don't think we needed
Oh.
to hear Horace Derwent again,
Great party, isn't it?
especially after Dan.
Not really a party.
that line earlier.
Great party, isn't it?
Abra goes into room
Nice little reference there, Dan.
The mossy Nakey lady, who was played by Sally
Oh,
Hawkins,
that's not good.
5 hours worth of makeup.
Again, props to the makeup department for making such really good makeup for this movie.
Sit around
Like,
set with her
wow.
bun done, looking indecent, even though she actually wasn't.
I forgot.
Dan finds Abra,
Okay.
who's free of his possession, and tells her to run away so he
Yeah,
can
gotta go blow up the boiler.
blow it up. She runs outside, and although the hotel tries to use Dan to turn the boiler off, he resists and takes a seat to watch it break down instead. Flames spread out and block his
I'm just gonna
exit,
make sure that I was, like,
mitigating
sitting
his
upright.
sacrifice. But at least he's
And
not
yeah,
alone.
had to add Danny into it. And he's just gonna sit there with his dead mom.
Together again, content.
Not sure why he turned into a little kid again, but
Sometime later, Abra chats with the ghost of Dan, who's visiting her just like Dick used to
same
visit
exact
him.
way Dick Halloran did.
What he told her when they first met, that she should keep her head down and her shining to herself.
Shine on, Aberstone. You shine.
you shine
I
on.
think that crazy diamond will, since she confesses to her mom that she talks to ghosts now, but frames it in a comforting way, just like Dr. Sleep himself.
We go on.
In a lesser movie,
Aw.
I might find this ending kind of cheesy, but here it feels in line with Flanagan's trademark tone, a kind of melancholic optimism.
There can be no horror if there isn't caring and love. That's very important, and I think a lot of filmmakers...
At least he got praise from one of the greatest like horror authors of our time.
Mike understands.
The movie ends with Abra heading to the bathroom like young Danny Torrance did. She's ready to box up Mrs.
Well, come on, give us another scream because you're going back into the box.
Oh, that was a big one. I think we earned ourselves some numbers. After all, that was a great kill count, wasn't it?
Really, dude? Yeah, take a drink, man. All right. I actually wonder what's going to get the golden chainsaw. If it's the old man, the way he dies because of, like, you know, losing a lot of steam, yeah, that definitely deserves a golden chainsaw.
The version runtime of 152 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 8.44 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Grandpa Flick.
Yeah, I knew it.
For
nice. It's very brutal for not being, like, you know, bloody or gory, but it's still messed up. Man, I don't know if I would agree with that. There you go, guys. That was my reaction to Dead Meat's kill count on Dr. Sleep. I had to fix my glasses there because I don't know why they were crooked. But yeah, still honestly a really great follow-up to The Shining, and a really great like love letter to Stephen King and everything for making a follow-up to his stories and everything. I don't know how I feel about like the dull machete for one of the hospice like, you know, patients dying. I think that's kind of it's a nice like bittersweet moment like to see, but it's understandable. It's not the most graphic kill, and you give the golden chainsaw for the best kill in the movie and the most graphic, but still, I think it's a nice bittersweet. I will probably say I think, honestly, the death that needed to be like dull machete would probably be, you know, Abra's dad, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, he didn't really get to do much for the movie, and his death just feels kind of not, you know, impactful because it was off screen and we didn't really get to see him do much. Just saying, and the fact that was he was terrified of his daughter because of her gift. But still, I understand why you put it on there, but, you know, just saying. Anyways, with that being said, thank you all for watching this video. If there's any other Dead Meat videos you guys want me to react to, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll try my best to get to them. Anyways, with that being said, thank y'all for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell to never miss a video. And with that, I will see all you awesome guys and gals later. Bye-bye!